Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is Thursday, August 27th, 2020. And today we're going to be taking a look at the 2020 electoral map and looking at the states that Joe Biden has a chance at winning. So we're actually going to be using the JHK forecast. We're going to be taking each individual state's chances for a Joe Biden victory and putting that on the electoral map. You can assume that this video will be released for Donald Trump, but I've decided against it considering the fact that I think it's more relevant to do which states Joe Biden has a chance at winning, considering that he is the person leading in the overall forecast with an 81% chance of victory. The final day of the RNC, so maybe if Trump gets a convention bump, I will use it. But this map generally will give you an idea of where Trump versus Biden have a chance at winning. Honestly, this should serve as a double purpose, but I pretty much did all of this based off of Joe Biden's chances. So the way that I'm doing my characterizations are fairly simple. It will actually be in the pinned comment if I remember. I'm going to write that down right now because I typically forget that. I really try not to, but again, sometimes things just go out because there's like a 30-minute period but by the time I record it, and then it gets uploaded, processed, and the thumbnail is made. But yeah, so the safe characterization for the Republicans will be a chance where Biden has less than a 1% chance of victory. So in the state of Wyoming, he has roughly a 0.1% chance of victory there. So that'd be considered safe. For likely, it's anything under 20% just because it still could possibly be mildly competitive. If Biden even has a 1 in 10 or 1 in 20 chance at winning a state, it's not necessarily super safe. It's going to be a safe margin more than likely than not, but there are exceptions. Alaska has a 17% chance of Biden winning there. That's practically, that is 1 in 6, which is honestly not too far off from what we're seeing on the electoral map. So it's anywhere between 2 to 20%. Honestly, this is about Biden's chances, so I really needed to expand the 50% the best way that I could. Anything between 21 and 40% is considered to be lean, and then anything that is 50% or 41% to 50% at a chance of Biden winning there is considered tilt for the Republican Party. Now, for the Democrats, anything safe for Joe Biden is where he has a 99% chance at victory, not North Dakota, but just using it for an example here. Anywhere likely is an 80% chance of a Joe Biden victory or above. Lean is 60% and above, and then tilt is 51% or 50.01% and above. So I'm hoping that made sense to you. It'll be in the pinned comment, so you can go ahead and refer to those. But pretty much, this electoral map doesn't deviate too much from what we see on my election predictions or what Nate Silver shows you or what The Economist shows you or what CNN, whatever. Honestly, that makes sense. Like I said in my previous video, the electoral map is very boring. The American electorate does not change, but I think some of these are actually pretty surprising. We'll start off with the safe states first, just because there aren't too many surprises on the Democratic side, but for the Republicans, there are some notable absences from this safe Republican column. So, talking about the safe Democratic seats, states, I don't know why I said seats, I think that's because I made a Senate video yesterday, the entire West Coast. Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, practically all of the 11 p.m. poll closing times. Actually, all of them are considered safe for one party or another. So those states, all safe for Joe Biden. Illinois, Maryland, my home state, Delaware, the District of Columbia, of course, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New York, Vermont, which is, it makes sense, but this is practically solidifying the Northeast. The reason why I think this is actually pretty significant is just because of the fact that some of these states were actually likely margins in 2016. New Jersey is actually on track to vote for Joe Biden by the largest margin of victory for Democrats since 2000, including President Barack Obama's victories in 2008 and 2012. So Biden actually might be doing better in the Northeast than Obama. He won Maryland by a larger margin than 2012. For whatever reason, my neighboring county, which typically votes for Republicans, voted for Hillary Clinton, and it is now on track to pretty solidly vote for Joe Biden. Whatever it is about these northeastern states, they tend to like Biden a little bit better than Barack Obama. But moving past those states, that's all of the safe states that I can characterize. Now let's talk about the safe Republican states. So again, not too many surprises. Utah, I'm actually pretty surprised that's on the list, but that makes sense. The margin just could be closer, but Trump is still going to be the winner. Wyoming, of course, in North and South Dakota. Nebraska, I'm going to check to see if they have any data on Nebraska's 2nd district. There should be, but I could be wrong. Okay, let me go back to the presidential race and see if it's on the side because I could very well be missing something. If I'm not, whatever, right here. So Nebraska's 2nd district, please let me click on it. Yeah, so that will be a lean Democratic state. And then let me do this. I should have done this before, but I didn't know they actually had this. So sorry about that. You can actually see the map. Might be some spoilers, sorry. And then Maine's 2nd district. Wow, Biden's actually leading there. That's pretty surprising. Okay, so that's done. Let's move back to the electoral map. Safe states for the Republicans. Nebraska, not Nebraska 2nd district, which we just saw. Let's go ahead and see. We have, no, actually not Kansas. Wow. Okay. Oklahoma. We have Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama. That's it. And West Virginia. So that's 69 electoral votes. Wow. That's insane. But that puts Donald Trump, he's going to win the remainder of these likely Republican states by very solid margins. Just that Joe Biden has a better than a 1% chance of victory here. For some of these states, it's 17%, and for some of them, it's as low as 4 to 5%. But still, the fact Joe Biden has a 1 in 20 chance at winning a state that's normally very solid for the GOP is important to note, because Donald Trump's GOP base is starting to dwindle, especially since we've seen a number of Republicans back away from President Trump. Very notable Republicans, Mitt Romney, both John Boehner and Paul Ryan have refused to say who they're voting for. It's insane. Paul Ryan literally ran toe-to-toe against Joe Biden in 2012. Won't say whether or not he's voting for Donald Trump. We have Carly Fiorina on Biden's side. We have John Kasich on Biden's side. There's a number of things as to why some of these states may be narrowing up. So let's talk about the likely states. We have a number of likely states on both sides, but I don't think they're too surprising for the Republicans. We'll start this one off so that way Trump's numbers can go up just a tad bit. Alaska, likely Republican. Montana, likely Republican. Kansas, which is still pretty surprising. Missouri, I normally characterize that, or at least I do now, as likely. Louisiana, that was actually pretty shocking for me to see. Mississippi, Indiana, and South Carolina. So the remainder of the states, now we filled up the 125 that we're used to seeing on the map, 125 electoral votes at this point. Biden already gets his 182 based off the safe numbers. Let me just check Maine's 1st district really quickly to see what that would be considered. I believe it's considered safe. Yes. So that's good for Joe Biden. Maine's 1st district is considered to be safe. So he gets a 183 immediately. This is based off states that he has a greater than 99% chance at winning in. For Donald Trump, he's relying on 56 electoral votes that are considered likely. Only 69 are considered safe. That's very significant. For the likely Democratic states, it gets even worse for Trump at this point. Nevada is considered likely. Colorado, New Mexico, this makes sense. Hillary Clinton won here 4 years ago. Minnesota, another state Hillary Clinton carried. Virginia, New Hampshire, Maine, these are all considered to be likely states for the Democrats. Now, there's one addition. Michigan. That rhymes, but Michigan is the addition to the likely Democratic column, which means that based off, an 80% plus chance at victory in these states, Joe Biden already gets higher than what Hillary Clinton got 4 years ago and is much closer to the presidency than Donald Trump, because likely on both sides puts Trump at literally, 123 electoral votes less than Joe Biden off the same exact characterizations. So this is a very big warning sign for President Trump. He needs to turn this election around, because honestly, this RNC isn't cutting it. To be completely honest with you, from everything that I've seen from the RNC versus the DNC, I don't think any party is going to get a significant convention bump. But unfortunately for Donald Trump, he's the only one who needs it. If this was a regular election, that would be bad news for both parties. But Biden entered into the DNC with an 8-point lead, finished with a 9-point lead, and is back down to an 8-point lead. But this RNC doesn't seem to be boosting too many numbers. But we'll see after tonight. Let's hope Trump does address the Hurricane Laura in Louisiana. If he doesn't, I honestly think that will be a major blow to his campaign, because that'll be very important that he's not even mentioning something that's happening on literally American borders. So Joe Biden at 248, Trump at 125. Let's talk about these lean Republican states. Unfortunately for Trump, there is only one, the state of Texas. This is the only state that actually lies between 60 to 80% in a chance for Donald Trump to win. 38 electoral votes, 127 toss-up, but there are some lean Democratic states we need to characterize. With just the lean Democratic states alone, Joe Biden wins the presidency. How, you might ask? Well, he's able to carry Wisconsin. He's able to carry North Carolina. He's able to carry Florida. He's able to carry Arizona and Nebraska's 2nd district. These are all considered to be lean Democratic states, which puts Joe Biden at 314 at a much better point than Donald Trump. He wins the presidency based off this one. And actually, hold on, I'm forgetting one state. It's where Joe Biden was born. Scranton, Pennsylvania. Let's go ahead and check, because I'm very surprised. I forgot that I counted this up. Oh, I counted D.C. as an additional state. So this doesn't look good for Trump. Wow, Pennsylvania. That's another likely Democratic state. So scratch what I was saying. Trump can't win. Trump cannot win this election if he remains at this point. At 248, it was possible. I could draw a map. Not at this point. Let's get rid of all of these lean Democratic states really quickly. Now you can see why it's very bad for Donald Trump. If you get rid of all of the lean districts and states, Biden's at 268. Yeah, no, I couldn't even draw pull anything out of anywhere to draw a Trump winning map after this. But at 248, I was wondering why Pennsylvania wasn't on the list right here. But I guess if it was at 248, Trump would have obviously a much better chance than if Biden was at 268. But with Pennsylvania being a likely Democratic state at this point, I literally cannot draw a map. It's like when John King mentioned the Romney plan in 2012, plan A, B, C are gone. Hard time coming up, with all of these plans. And at this point, it looks like Trump's pathway to re-election has been cut off with that Pennsylvania. It was considered lean. Maybe it's in striking distance. But then again, keep in mind, lean is still between 60 to 80%. It's not 80% plus, so it's still feasible for Donald Trump, but it's not necessarily favored for Trump by any stretch of the imagination. Not even at this point. So Biden's at 268. Let's go back to characterizing the lean states. And wow, it does get a lot worse for Trump from here. So Florida, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Arizona are all lean states. And can you guess the characterization for the remainder of these states and districts? Tilt. So for Donald Trump, he actually does get a little bit of a silver lining. He wins Iowa. He wins Ohio. He wins Georgia with tilt margins. This is based off of the expected percent of a Donald Trump victory. And then in Maine's 2nd district, this one's actually surprising to me. Biden, like we saw earlier, has a 54% chance at winning Maine's 2nd district. It's considered tilt. It's very close, but Biden finishes the electoral map with 335. So, like I said, review all of the states that Trump won based off of a safe and likely characterization, meaning these are all states that he has an 80% chance at winning or higher. For Joe Biden, that puts him at 268. For Donald Trump, that puts him at 125. 125. That is insane. Donald Trump's numbers are way lower than Joe Biden's, when we look at these likely and safe states. And that's a very unfortunate reality for Donald Trump. He did very well in 2016. And in order to beat Hillary Clinton, he must have had to do very well. He had to flip the entire blue wall. If that blue wall had retained for the Democrats, we would be talking about President Hillary Clinton's re-election bid. But we aren't. So Donald Trump has very high standards to live up to. And unfortunately for him, he narrowly won in 2016, but he's definitely lost more than that narrow amount of voters across the Rust Belt, across North Carolina, across Florida, Arizona, Texas, Georgia, Ohio, Iowa, Indiana, Missouri, Mississippi. You get the idea. Trump's voting base is dwindling. Biden is expanding his electoral map, or at least expanded off Hillary Clinton's electoral map. The race very well could change. We have 68 days till Election Day, but we're starting to see things start to add up. And based off this JHK forecast, Trump is going to need a phenomenal RNC speech tonight in order to bump up his chances at winning the presidency. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to comment down suggestions below. Subscribe on the left if you haven't already, and check out the Instagram and Twitter. At the bottom left of the screen, there's also a Discord link for you to go ahead and join. On the screen, there's a video you can watch, and then a playlist for my 2020 election predictions. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all later today.